Welcome to Where Hawaii Eats. We are in historic Chinatown at the iconic Murphy's Bar and Grill. Joining me today is the infamous Don Murphy, owner of this popular establishment. How are you?
Not so infamous. I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for doing the show.
You're welcome.
Tell me what you've prepared for us today.
Well, today we've got our crab and shrimp sandwich, grilled crab and shrimp sandwich with cheese that we've had on since the day we opened 33 years ago. Then we have our chicken quesadillas. They're not traditional. We roll them rather than do them flat like most places do. And then our Caesar salad topped with sweet chili salmon and potato salad.
Potato salad. Very good. So potato salad, tell me, is there anything, 'cause, Irish restaurant, potatoes?
Potatoes, it just all goes together. We go through a lot of potatoes around here.
So can we start eating?
Sure, go right ahead, yep.
So I'm gonna, let's dig into this. This looks amazing. But can you tell me how you got your start? Tell me a little about your background.
Well, I grew up in Oklahoma, and after that, after I got out of college, I went to Florida and then ended up in California working for an investment banker out of San Francisco. And I was basically just managing commercial properties for him. And he at one point in time owned this side of the block, these three buildings between Nu'uanu and Bethel. Mm-hmm. And we'd come downtown whenever we were in town, because we liked this area. It was more like San Francisco than Waikiki, and with more of a bar atmosphere. And he was an Irishman from New York, so we were all very bar oriented. And next door was a little place called Jameson's, and we always loved to go in there. And this was at that time called Mateo's. It was the second Mateo's that they had. And he called me up one day, and I was running a houseboat rental resort for him up in Northern California on Shasta Lake, and said, "Hey Murph, I just bought the block that's got the old Jameson's in it. Let's go take it over." They were closed at the time, and I said, "Sure." So I came over, and we'd always talked about having our own bar and restaurant. And it was going to cost so much to redo that one. It was pretty run down that these guys that were in here were ready to sell. So we bought this place from them. I fell in love with this building and fell in love with my wife, who was working here at the time.
So that's
that
how
was
you met Marion.
That's how I met, yeah.
So she came part
Package
of the package.
deal. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were like the I guess the offerings that you had on the menu off the bat that you still have today?
Oh, we still have today our turkey jalapeno sandwich, which is just turkey and turkey breast. We cook fresh turkey every day with jalapeno peppers and jack cheese. The sandwich, the Caesar salads. Funny thing I did when I opened up, I said, this is going to be an Irish place. We're not going to serve rice. So just potatoes. So boy, after about 2 weeks of people yelling at me, "Where's the rice?" We went back to rice. And then fresh fish, steak, yeah, all the staples.
But your corned beef, you have, let's see, what else do you have? You have shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie, corned beef, yeah.
All the things.
Irish dip sandwich, which is sirloin that we cook and make it like a French dip.
So based on everything you've experienced, this pandemic is probably the biggest kick in the butt you've ever had.
Oh, geez, yeah.
So yeah. What modifications, how did you deal with the pandemic?
Well, we found out right away that our takeout went from 2% of our business to 30% of our business right off the bat. So when we found that we were having them come into the restaurant to pick up the food in the bar area, and they felt uncomfortable doing that. They didn't want to be in a crowded room, and these are the people that are taking the takeout, so they don't want to come in and sit down. So the space next door to me, again, which was the Jameson's originally, I cut a hole in the wall and rented that space, and we did a pass-through. So right from our kitchen pantry area, we can pass through the food over there, and that's our takeout pickup room, wow, which has worked out terrific. Yeah. And then we've leased a little space, outdoor space next to that, where we got seating for about 35 people outdoors. So it's really worked out pretty good.
So also, there is these pies that Marion makes every Friday, correct?
Right. She makes them every Thursday for Friday,
Thursday
yeah.
For Friday, so you can get them on Friday. But tell me about, was she a baker by trade? Like, how did this come about?
Oh, she just grew up baking with her mother. She grew up in Alberta, Canada, and they just baked all the time. And all of a sudden, one day, she started making pies, and a couple of customers just made like a pie for, let's try this. I'll make a pie, a blueberry pie or whatever it was. And these customers kept saying, "Hey, you got to get more pies. This is something." So all of a sudden, she's making 14, 15 pies on Thursday for Friday, all different kinds. And it's really taken off, and she's fabulous. She loves doing it, but it's hard work.
Baking is hard.
Yeah.
What's the secret to your corned beef?
Boiling water.
That's it?
No, throw some spices in.
But the
Customers.
consistency, it's so always.
Yeah. And we try to buy the same product we've been buying for years, the same brand. And sometimes they'll be out, so we'll have to go to another one. You can tell the difference. It's, we try to get as good of a product as we can.
Then there's the fish and chips. That's, I don't know what you guys do that batter, but it's always consistent and so good.
Yeah, it's just staying on top of it and trying to be consistent. That's, you get a set thing and they got to do that. And every now and then, they'll start to wander, and you just got to say, "Hey, wait a minute here, fellas." "Oh, okay, boss."
So tell me about the salmon. Is there a special salmon that you guys use?
Yeah, it's East Coast salmon.
East Coast salmon.
Yeah, and it's just we bring it in fresh, and we sell a lot of it, so it must be okay.
Salmon is really, everything on the menu is consistently good.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
your steak salad is my favorite.
Thanks.
How much Guinness do you go through?
Oh, a lot. Not as much as we used to due to this pandemic, but a lot.
A lot.
St. Patrick's Day, we would go through an incredible amount of Guinness.
And Jameson.
And Jameson's, oh yeah, that and an awful lot of that too. And Bailey's and Harp.
And
Yeah.
you actually have a really good wine list too.
Yeah, it's it's good, but it's not overpriced or the really upscale. We've tried that and it just didn't work. It's just not our. You can't be everything. You find out. I've always said find your niche and just beat it to death.
Sure.
So,
You definitely did, find your niche. But I got to say, your wine, the wines at Ferguson is really amazing. I love the wine list over there.
Oh, great.
But the wine list here is good too.
Yep.
Something for everybody.
Yep. It's,
What about cocktails? What's the
cocktails is funny. They're selling more cocktails now than normal. Then beer sales are down, but that's pretty much nationwide, and it's been going on for a while.
Why would you say that is?
I don't know. I think that the beer thing kind of, this industry is very trendy. So the beer thing, especially with the specialty beers and all that, the home brews and things like that, craft beers, that's kind of almost run its gamut. I won't say completely, but it's slowed down in those sales.
So do you see
So
that
I see more
trend?
cocktails.
You see
Yeah,
more cocktails?
yeah, and more especially more browns, bourbons and things like that.
So what kind of cocktails? Like more like
Old fashioned things like
Oh, so those
things-
are kind of making a resurgence.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, it all comes full circle.
How do you see that with the trend with food?
Pretty much the same. I think the food they're going more towards comfort food. That we see that a lot, especially in the takeouts. Things they can go home and just sit down and say, "Oh, this is just a good old home meal."
So more
Meatloaf. It's a big seller. So.
Anything else you want to share with our viewers?
No, just ask everybody to support local businesses, which everybody I think is doing, and just stay safe and follow the rules, and let's get through this thing. And I especially want to thank everybody that's been a part of our family and community and helped us out, supporting us and everything. It's been incredible, and you learn a lot. There's been some good things that have come out of this thing, and a lot of bad things, but there's been some really good things. I think one of them is you find out how good people are, especially over here in Hawaii. What wonderful people they are, how they try to help each other.